Now for this hour, we start with US and NATO to meet with various parties at this week's World Economic Forum in Davos, although he did not specify who would attend. In a post on Truth Social, Trump Mark Rutte by posting a screenshot of a conversation about Trump's involvement in Syria, Gaza and Ukraine. Rutte has further affirmed to find a way forward on the ongoing tensions with regards to Greenland. Major General, for joining us once again.
Thank you, Asuma. Thank you. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Now, looking at this, what could have led President Trump to kind of have soft tone, and where does Mark Rutte exactly stand, and what do you think his strategy was to assure that President Trump and him as a head of NATO doesn't?
In the instant case, Syria definitely is a departure of violence that it has witnessed in the past. Also, at the same time, the NATO chief has realized that it's no point actually, bulldozing there or putting their foot down, which are opening up. In my take on the whole issue is that he's done a wise thing by mellowing down. And that is one of the options to calm down Donald Trump, because he's actually, Davos Island in the Indian Ocean region. Tomorrow he will talk about something else. So I think under the circumstances, he's playing it cool and calming him down. And as a matter of, and third and most important point is that NATO is coming under excessive pressure. When NATO comes under pressure, the European Union or the Europe, all the countries are coming under pressure because of Greenland issue. The attention is getting diverted from Ukraine to Greenland now, landed up in Greenland. That is too meager a strength to counter, contain or do contestation against the USA forces. If USA has to bulldoze its way through and go in for military occupation of Greenland. So under these circumstances, when Donald Trump is asserting and flexing his muscles, showing his teeth and eyes all over, NATO chief has got very little to do but to is the Syrian initiative taken by Donald Trump, which perhaps, to the best of my understanding, has got high potential of normalizing in due course of time, subject to SDF and the Syrian army coming together, as also the initiative for peace and harmony which is underway. Because the most important thing is the Kurdish rebels. They have already been accepted as an entity in the constitution of the Syria, and to go in for demanding the autonomy and as an independent status of the Kurdish group or the clan in all the four states. Turkey, you have Syria, you have Iraq, and also you have some portions of the northern tip of Iran. So all these things put together, I feel that there is a chance of peace, even if it is not there. It's no point actually banging a head against a person like Donald Trump. Therefore, there is a change of stance of the NATO chief. Back to you, Asuma.
Right. And then we saw Gaza, Ukraine, while preparing to attend World Economic Forum.
You see, there are two things which have happened. One is presently the World Economic Forum is in progress in Davos, and the President of France has sent a message. I suppose it's there in the Twitter or the X already, and he has said that they are on line with Donald Trump as far as Syria is concerned. They're absolutely on board, on the same page as far as Iran is concerned, but he doesn't understand as to what Donald Trump is doing in Greenland. For that, he is proposed to have a G7 meeting, imposed a very punitive tariff, 200% tariff on his wine and champagne, on the French champagne and French wine. So concurrently, the NATO chief also has given out a message like this. Simply, it may be by design or it may be just an inadvertent kind of a thing, basically to calm down Donald Trump so that the turbulence which is actually building up by the day, whether it is Europe or outside Europe, in America or Indo-Pacific or anywhere for that matter, doesn't go out of hand and it takes us from one conflict to another. The two conflicts which he promised to close down or bring them to ceasefire are nowhere close to it. International stabilization force in Northeast is in Middle East is not working. It's going at a slow pace. He's creating a behemothal kind of organization. 60 countries have been already invited. With 1 billion, whoever comes with $1 billion, perhaps they will be given a permanent stature. But coming to the NATO chief's remark, I personally feel it has got more to do because of the concern of NATO collapsing. NATO is falling apart. It is collapsing with USA. USA being the dominant power as our NATO ally. If it falls apart, then NATO will cease to exist, and therefore they have to fend for themselves against any kind of threat which is emerging. That is the biggest cause of worry as far as the NATO chief is concerned, and maybe from that perspective, he is trying to mellow down and play the cards much more deftly and in a much more subservient manner, so that he doesn't, trigger any kind of wrath coming from the NATO's requirement. Back to you, Subha.
Thank you for that deep insight, Major General.